Hello and welcome to Moving Through Menopause. I'm here today with Ceza I knew I was going to get that wrong. Ceza Ouzounian, I'm so sorry. And Ceza is an award-winning relationship coach. So we are in good hands this afternoon. Welcome to you. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here.
No, it's exciting. So we are talking all about relationships today, and I put in the title of the post, that song title, the well-known song title, Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. Let's talk about me. Yes. And I was censored for the first time in my life. I waited till I was in my 50s to be censored on Facebook. Anyway, it's let's talk about ... And, that's how it feels sometimes, doesn't it? Something territory that we're either afraid of to chat about or embarrassed to talk about. But Ceza knows exactly what is required to have a relationship full of love, support, passion, and she's helped lots of women reach their goals. And so I'm so happy to have you here today to chat about relationships and my focus particularly around menopause. So we're talking about maybe relationships that we've been in for some time.
Yeah.
Which can have its own wonderful familiarity, or I hesitate to say virgin on boredom, but we've got that whole gambit, haven't we? So where to begin, Ceza? Where to begin?
I don't know. There's so much stuff there that we could begin anywhere. I don't know. Well, what comes to mind, and it's something you said earlier about. So I guess I'm just going to go straight for what you said earlier. So, but when the children leave the nest, and it's maybe just you and your partner again after a really long time of having kids, and how that can affect the relationship. And what just came to mind while you were doing the intro is that relationship with yourself. So how you feel about the situation, the fact that your children are now out of the house doing their own thing, how you feel about yourself can then affect your relationship with your partner. And I do hear that a lot when the children leave, and then suddenly the woman's like, oh my God, everything that I've been doing has now ended. What do I do now? So that could be a good place for us to start.
I think that's right. And, the temptation is to think that there's something wrong with outside of yourself.
Yeah.
We start to look at all these other things outside of ourselves when maybe it's about that work that we do on our own selves. And you're absolutely right that, this is definitely for me, in my own experience, a time of doubt. A time of self-questioning, but your body, the fact that your body's rebelling, and things are not like they used to be, presents its own challenges. So that starting point, I think you said, the start with yourself.
And that starting point of looking at that relationship you have with yourself is so important. And a lot of the work I do with clients is about them, and how they see themselves, how they feel, how they relate to different situations. And your body's going through a big change. It is going to bring up lots of different feelings and, I don't know, negative thoughts. So how can you kind of move through that and firstly acknowledge what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and then how can you change that? So actually you're going through this massive change, but that doesn't mean everything has to change in your life. You can still tune into who you are, or decide who you want to be. Like, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
I've spoken to like women who get to a point where they kind of feel like they've lost themselves. They don't really know who they are anymore. So,
yeah.
you know, if you're at that point, it's a really good opportunity to rediscover who you are, what you want.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, because all the things that defined you as a, as a mother, say, for instance, which
Mm,
I was, and, have heavily been involved in mothering my two sons, who
yeah.
are 21 and 18, and really, really don't want any more mothering. They tell me that on a regular basis. So, this change of roles,
Mhm,
that defined me that has defined me for a long time. And so now, then what? And this is the situation for so many of us who, it maybe, and in a positive way too,
mhm.
it's kind of now what
Yeah,
exciting things can follow. Uh, but
yeah, exactly.
yeah, sometimes we just need to have an opportunity to reflect and dig inside and just really get in touch with what that is, because we've sort of lost touch a little bit sometimes
Mm.
with those kinds of, actually now it can be about me. So what does that feel like?
Yeah, exactly. uh, yeah. What what is it that you, I guess, what that person wants to do with their life? Like, um,
Mhm.
what is the next step for them? How do they feel about it? Just getting clear on what they want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Being a
And
little
that's
bit selfish.
be selfish, and getting clear sometimes is just such a
Yeah,
difficult thing.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So like when I'm working with my clients, whether they're in a relationship or single, the first thing we always do is start, what is it you actually want? Like, what will make you happy? What do you want? What is important to you? And I think that's important at any point in your life, you know, whether that's relationships or just life in general, career or whatever. What is it you want? What is important to you? What is going to make you happy? Because when you are in your best version or the best place, then everyone around you is going to see that and feel that and benefit from it. um, so yeah, what is it? What do you want? That's a really good place to start.
Do you have particular exercises that you work through to dig that out of people? Because that can be quite far hidden deep down, can't it?
Yeah. So there's different ways you can do it. There's You can do like lists of what is essential. So what is this? So it depend. Let's If we pick a topic of relationships, for example, what is essential for there to be in that relationship? You know, those are the must-haves that you want in that relationship. Then
Okay.
there's things like they would be nice, but it's not the end of the world, uh, kind of category. So you'd like them, but you
Yeah.
can compromise on them. And then there's the things that are absolute no-no. So so when those no-no things come up, you can be like, uh-uh, that's I'm not going there. And again, sometimes we need to, be clear on what those no-nos are. Um, to like help us uphold our kind of standards and boundaries. Um, so that's a really good way of doing it. What is a absolutely must be there? What is a maybe? What is a absolutely no? Um, yeah, and I also get people to like daydream a little bit. Think about what you want. Like, how does it feel? What are you daydreaming about? What do you see yourself doing, or what would you like to do? Um,
This is
yeah.
dangerous territory. Okay. So, but no, I totally see how that would be beneficial. As a yoga teacher, practicing meditation,
Oh, yeah.
stripping away all the influences from outside, and really generating freedom to
Mhm.
express whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I like that idea, and I could see myself getting quite carried away meditating on that. Um, uh, but yeah, because give yourself permission to daydream, to
Yeah,
reach for the stars. Why not do that? I think that's perfectly appropriate.
yeah. And I find with women, what comes up a lot is the things that, and it might be true for men as well, but because I work mostly with women, that's where I see a lot, is
Sure.
is that this is what I should be doing, or this is what
Mm,
I should think, or that should be, but actually deep down that isn't what you want to do, or it isn't what makes you happy. So it's like you said, giving yourself permission to reach for the stars, but actually just think about yourself.
mm,
Okay, what is important to me? What do I want?
mm,
Because sometimes we're so focused on making everyone else happy, but
mm.
actually, what makes you happy? And giving yourself permission to go on that journey.
Yeah, yeah,
It might be you start daydreaming about things that may never happen, but it gives you that kind of, allows you to kind of be free and go, okay, what are my possibilities?
yeah, exactly. What are your possibilities?
Mm,
And and resistance to this sort of approach. Oh, this isn't for me, or we are so much more secure in the path well trod.
mhm,
As humans, we seek the familiar, and that is our sort of safe place. And sometimes, even when the familiar isn't particularly fulfilling, it's familiar, and therefore we're more inclined to stick with it than to transition outside of that. So, how can we move past those kinds of barriers, would you say?
okay. So this is exactly what I work with as well with my clients, is those resistances. And the first thing really is to become aware of what they are. So,
Oh,
because if you don't know they're there, how are you going to work? And we all, the thing is, we all have resistances. We all, stay in our comfort zone when maybe we need to reach out, or we sabotage whatever we're doing on, like, unconsciously because of that resistance. So let me think of an example. Like, if maybe you have, I don't know, you want to, let's say your children have left the house and you're like, oh, you know what, actually I'd like to start a business, I've got all this time, I've always wanted to do this, I'm going to go do it. But then fear comes up and you feel like, oh, well, who am I to start it, or I'm too old, or what do I know, like I'm just going to fail, so why bother? Those are resistances, and they might come up like a thought. It might come up as if, you may feel like, I don't know, suddenly really tired, and so you do something else, or you might procrastinate as a way to avoid
mm,
taking the action. um, so yeah, it's becoming aware of what you're saying to yourself, um, aware how you're feeling. Looking at your actions. How many times have we had to do something, but instead we're like, oh, I'll do this other thing that's not actually important or urgent, but I'm going to do it because I don't want to do what I need to do. Um, yeah, and journaling is a really good way to do this as well. I quite like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Journaling has a really impactful uh, uh, as an exercise to do.
yeah,
With lots of different things
hmm,
to articulate something out of your head, put it down on paper.
yeah,
Uh, it really is very powerful. So yeah, that can be a way to start to notice patterns,
mhm.
of behaviors or thoughts or whatever it is. And I'm the king of procrastination. And also, when you've got something to do, cleaning up and tidying up that's the like my default. I just go to, I know I need to clean or tidy this particular cupboard before I do anything else.
Yeah,
So yeah, get to kind of get familiar with those patterns is the first, like you say, the very first step. And so the more this self knowledge comes into play,
hmm,
better, isn't it? The more we can know ourselves, understand ourselves, and then kind of move from that to accepting and then loving ourselves for all our little idiosyncrasies.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, and when you start doing this kind of work of starting to notice your resistances, you might find the more you become aware, the more becomes. So the more you notice it, the more becomes aware. You become aware of more. That
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
What I'm trying to say.
I know. You notice things that you
Yeah.
never even realised were there, and then all of a sudden it's so obvious and apparent you can't even understand how you didn't know it before. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Also, what I say to clients is don't judge what's coming up, because sometimes have we do have resistances that we don't want to have, or we feel like, oh, that's so stupid, why do I have it?
mm,
But we all have resistances, and whatever they are, there's no judgment, just because once you start judging it, that in itself is a resistance. So allow whatever needs to come up to come up, because only then can you change them. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, a lot of this is influenced by our past experiences of life.
Mhm.
And this starts really early, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Before we even notice it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it starts from when you're a baby. There's so much stuff we take on, and it could be like beliefs that our parents had. It could be what someone at school said. It could be, sometimes um, they're really insignificant moments in time, but they affect a belief we hold or the way we behave. Um, and so what we want to do is you kind of start want to uncover some of the stuff you want to uncover so you can get rid of it, but some of it you don't always need to know what the root cause is. Because the technique I use with clients is the energy alignment method. So you don't always need to know exactly what has caused it, but it's about being able to shift through it and let go, and then start changing. If something happens and you get triggered, and this thought gets triggered, and this feeling gets triggered, and then the behavior gets triggered. It's about stopping that before that kind of chain reaction happens.
Yeah, yeah. And so digging deep isn't always necessary, just generating that level of awareness and then spotting these things as they arise and taking remedial action. And
Yeah.
I think that's, because, I'm kind of like the clock's ticking. I've only got so much time to do this. I can't start back in 1971. So yeah, I think that's right. That there's only so much of that work that A, we need to do, and B, is appropriate to do. So
Yeah.
what I was saying to you about intimacy and embarrassment and the changes that occur in the body, and I mean, why am I so embarrassed? Is a good question, and I think. When you were saying something, then it just brought back this thing that my mom said to me, when I was a young woman, and it basically was, in a nutshell, nice girls don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of message is that for me to carry with me all these years?
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
exactly. So there's a lot of those kind of, I mean, everything can influence us, like what's going on, what our parents say, our grandparents, our
Yeah,
culture, our society, and yeah, it does affect us, and sometimes we don't even know it's affecting us,
yeah.
which then you can start feeling embarrassed and hiding. It could be physically hiding in your body, but avoiding things that makes you feel embarrassed, um, especially with like intimacy.
Mm.
So I guess again, it's about looking at those resistances. What are those thoughts you're having? Why, if you're feeling embarrassed, why are you feeling embarrassed?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I guess It's a bit hard because everyone's a bit different.
They
So,
are.
yeah.
I know. So, okay, for me, let's say, for instance, uh, the thighs not quite as toned as they used to be. Although, I mean, I do all this exercise, and probably I'm a bit of hard on myself. Well, I think, and I'm not on my own, am I? In that,
No.
that's not unique to me. Uh, but you sort of, this, if your thighs happen to and in this heat, like, clap together. I'm feeling mortified. I mean, that's ludicrous, isn't it?
Yeah. But then you're not the only one. I'm
No,
sure. Um,
but that doesn't help me necessarily.
no. So I guess, especially with stuff to do with body and how we feel about our body, a lot of it does come from what we see in like media.
Right.
What we're always shown women as this, perfect bodies, which isn't real. We all have flabby bits, or we all go through moments where we might feel really confident about our body, and then it changes, and we feel really rubbish about it.
Mm.
Um, and I guess I don't know. I guess it depends because obviously when I'm working with clients, it's very specific to what works for them. So it could be for some people that's releasing the energy behind how they're feeling, about their thighs, for instance. It could be doing exercise that makes them feel good, doing something that makes them feel body confident. Um, it could, I don't know. It
Yeah.
could,
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going with this, and definitely for me, being strong makes me feel a lot more able to withstand, some of these feelings, and so this is something that I work on. Uh, strength work, body strength. I come away from doing body resistance exercises feeling like I could conquer the world. It is. There's nothing quite like it when I work to do that. When I do that work, and I'm so lucky that I get to join in. And when I'm showing people how to do it, I get to join in. So this is definitely fortunate for me. So yeah, I mean, there's no, like you say, there's definitely no one solution that fits everybody. It's important that we work with individuals to offer solutions that are
Mhm.
to them. And we are all so very, very different.
Exactly. And part of it, I mean, I think everyone has a part of their body they don't like,
Yeah.
but there will be a part of your body that you do love. And I guess it's about tuning into what is it that I do love about myself. And then there might be parts that will never change, and there might be parts that you can change if that's what, well, if you want to do. um, but it's, yeah, and I guess also it's about tuning into your confidence as well, because there's people who have amazing bodies but have no confidence and they hate their body, and then so it's about, so you can, sometimes, so it's not really about what's on the outside always. Sometimes it's just about how you feel about your body. So it's about changing that relationship with your body and being okay with whatever. Even if you want to change it and you want to get fitter or stronger or whatever that is,
Mm.
you've got to start that place of acceptance. This is me, and I accept it, and I love me for who I am. And then you can do whatever changes in a healthy, because some people feel, they might feel fat, so they don't eat properly because they're kind of punishing their body, but that's not going to help them change the body in a positive way. So it's about going, okay, this is what I am now. What can I do to make myself feel better and more confident, and then change in a way that is healthy and good for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is not that, like I said, this is not unique to me. It's a story that we hear over and over again from the women that we work with, and it does rob us. of so much.
Yeah.
You carry that with you. I was working with a client only yesterday who, we were discussing how standing on the scales,
Mm.
the barometer of how you feel for the whole rest of that day. And
Mm.
the Monday, oh, it's Monday, it's start again day. I mean, this is what do women talk about? I've worked in a female-dominated profession the whole of my working life, and what do we love to talk about? One, dieting, and two, cooking. I mean, a bit of oxymoron. So, I mean, there's so many of us in this, call it the diet trap, don't we? And so I know what you're saying about we need to make that shift. The question becomes that the how part of that is so very entangled
Mm.
uh, and can be really quite challenging to do. I like what you said about we focus on the positive because sometimes just the idea that you're constantly unpicking why do you feel so bad? Why do you feel so bad? Why do
Mm.
you feel so bad? You just end up feeling badder if that's even possible. So,
Yeah.
finding the focus on the positive and then build strategies into your life that fuel these positive this positive
Exactly.
look. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. You want to work on like the negative side, but at the same time, you want to tune into the positive. Because the positive is almost like, okay, what am I grateful right now? And what are my goals, which is where you want to work towards. And when you're focusing on them, it's a lot easier to take whatever action or put that strategy, like you said, in place. But when you're focusing on all the negatives, you're like, well, personally, if I'm just focusing on the negatives, then I'm like, well, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to get, this is all rubbish. I'm not going to do anything. So it can really help kind of shift that mindset of everything's rubbish to, okay, I can do this. This is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes we do need help to turn that corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'm always an advocate of a neutral third party, somebody who, because sometimes you don't even hear what you say yourself.
No.
It comes out of your mouth, but it hasn't necessarily travelled between
Exactly.
you. So I do advocate having somebody, a guide to
Hmm.
help us to navigate these situations, and together we're just all in it together. And somebody, it might be somebody that for you that is working for you, but and doesn't work for me, and that's fine too. That we're just finding those people that speak to us, uh,
Exactly.
and so seek assistance should you require it. Get curious. That's the other thing, isn't it? Just, ooh, they're coming to get you.
Yeah. It's like a train's going past, ambulance going, police going past.
Sorry, where's it going? Um, Gosh, I've lost my train of thought now. That'll be the menopause.
Yeah. So yeah, you're saying about having a guide, and
Oh,
that is something I do say to clients is, as a coach, I'm going to pick up on things they're saying or that their body language is saying that they're not. We all have blind spots, so someone else can pick up on that blind spot, and that's what ultimately I'm doing. I'm picking up on their blind spot and helping them and guiding them to get to where they want to be. Um, yeah,
yeah.
we all can do with help sometimes. So yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So, well, thank you for your time this afternoon. I thoroughly enjoyed our chat. I feel like I am better informed about, some of these barriers. And again, thank you. It's lovely to connect with you and keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. It's been really great chatting.
Well, thank you. Take care now and have a fabulous rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.